Planet Earth faced the apocalypse. The sixth attempt to stop the chaos begins. Jitae reflects on 6 cycles of regression that interrupted multiple planetary apocalypses. Dragons destroy worlds because their offspring don't know they are playing with the fate of other worlds. Every adult dragon shoulder to shoulder demands justice for fallen hatchlings. The blood price is high. Jitae is the strongest, but even he can't stop the full power of the dragons. Despite immeasurable power and a long life, he is dragged into an eternal cycle of killings and rebirths. He realizes that only by stopping the apocalypse can this cycle of immortality end. Different reasons lead to death. Madness, despair, hatred, death intertwines with the whole world. Time is running out, the game starts again, and he is determined to change Earth's fate. Jitae puts on a new form, its size magically adjusts to him. He is ready to start a day full of changes. Early morning in Gangnam. People rush about, superhumans in armor smoke on the streets. A normal day for the new era. Jitae teleports to Lear Academy, a large city on a floating island, the center of new powers and mysteries. At the academy he sees students and colleagues, but no one recognizes Jitae. He barely recognizes himself after relapses. A young colleague notices changes in Jitae, growth, strength, and an uncertain expression as if he's become a different person. Inspector Park bursts into the office, yelling at the team, demanding they catch the fugitive Joe Hazik faster. When the inspector points at Jitae, he freezes under the hero's gaze, staring with mysterious stillness. The inspector sets an ultimatum, 1 week to catch the criminal, or everyone must leave their positions. After the inspector leaves, the team is devastated, but Jitae reflects on the value of routine life and his new path. At night in Florence, Jitae meets a mysterious girl, a child of the Green Dragon with a magnificent and frightening appearance. He decides to establish a more normal relationship with dragon hatchlings, leaving past failures behind. A dialogue between Jitae and the mysterious Green Dragon child opens a new path, full of secrets and dangers. Jitae strictly explains the rules of coexistence with the dragon, warning of dangerous consequences. Signing a silent agreement promising safety, they disappear from the noisy streets, hiding together. The next morning, despite Sunday, Lair District is tense because of Joe Hazik, and Jitae prepares for the case. Jitae's copy goes on the mission while he quietly reads the newspaper at home, awaiting a new life with the dragon. Green Dragon asks to prepare breakfast, showing natural care and curiosity about human life. Jitae briefly explains the conditions of living together, protecting the dragon from external dangers. The dragon suggests going shopping together, surprising Jitae with unusual care and a desire to get closer. Together they walk down the street, attracting the attention of passers-by, but Jitae's stern look warns of his danger. In a narrow alley, a broker with an eye patch reacts with awe to the appearance of the dragon and Jitae. Jitae threatens the broker, showing authority and protection. Then the ID-making process continues. The broker trembles with fear, fulfills the order, and cautiously addresses the dragon by name, trust growing again. Her new name is Ubom, symbolizing spring, and they continue the evening with a walk, strengthening their bond in this dangerous world. Jitae watches Bom's bustle in the kitchen, sensing a strange past feeling hidden in the haze of smells. Bom cheerfully hums, surprising Jitae. He tries to understand what has changed since their first meetings. Jitae tastes Bom's dish, his face unreadable, but inside he tries to decipher her mood. Silence at the table turns into a smile from Bom as she proudly talks about her favorite dish, but Jitae does not rush to answer. Life with Bom settles in. She brings a pot with a lifeless plant, trying to add some life to the home. Bom gently closes her eyes and touches the soil in the pot, showing the start of new life. A small sprout breaks through. Jitae reflects on the memory of his copy and the sudden meaning everyday life begins to take for him. In Jitae's memories, the giant wounded green dragon watches him through the storm and thunder, asking a fateful question. Green Dragon's voice is full of bitterness and despair. He blames Jitae for destroying a happy past and childhood memories. Jitae is silent, overwhelmed by a wave of emotions. For the first time finds no excuses, and accepts the late words of the Green Dragon. Back in reality, Jitae hears Bomp's voice offering help with a mysterious cube, an unexpected pause in heavy thoughts. They decide to solve the cube together, and after hours of struggle, Bomp's joy brings unexpected success. Late at night, the copy returns from work, approaches Jitae, and offers to share memories. The memories show warm support from Jitae's colleagues and their discussions about his growth and problems with a suspicious employee. Jitae learns of a serious threat, a human trafficking group producing kidnappings and selling superhuman children. Memories are interrupted by the appearance of a girl, Lee Buzak, decisively showing affection to the copyright at work. The copy changes form, dresses in loose clothes, preparing for dinner and a new day with unexpected calm. The next morning, Jitae and BOM discuss the upcoming mission, to capture the aggressive Red Dragon. BOM explains the Red Dragon's unwillingness to be caught by force, stressing the importance of a delicate approach. Jitae explains that he is not a master, but a protector of dragons, warning of the risks to the Red Dragon. BOM doubts the source of information about the enemies and agrees to help if called upon. Jitae heads to Africa, to the barren lands, where survival has become even harder after the new era. Jitae uses his power to interrogate a bandit hiding information about the Night Dragon. With his gaze ability, Jitae exposes the interlocutor's lies and fears, forcing a confession. As the sun sets, Jitae and BOM discover traces of the Red Dragon and an approaching battle. Jitae warns BOM not to interfere and moves towards the battlefield among mysterious superhuman masks. At the center of the circle, a girl with a wooden mask, taking the strike of a lightning spear with playful madness in her eyes. The Red Dragon throws off the mask, revealing a savage beauty, mockingly challenging his opponents. A fierce battle begins. Spears, flames, and ice clash against the might of the Red Dragon. The Red Dragon swings his staff and throws a spear at Jitae, who easily dodges, preparing to respond. Jitae catches the sword at the dragon's belt and pulls it, causing his opponent to hesitate and retreat. Face to face, without jokes or mockery, the Red Dragon asks who he is, confronting the stranger's strange power. Jitae greets her with dry resolve and a voice like a broom sweeping dust in the desert. Danger grows in the Red Dragon's eyes, jealousy and mistrust tightening his gaze. BOM tries to convince the Red Dragon to accept Jitae, announcing him as a strong teacher and a new chance. The Red Dragon refuses the offer of training, proud and confident in his power, ready for a new fight. After taunts and clever escapes, the Red Dragon vanishes into the darkness, leaving silence and tension behind. BOM admits failure but remains determined, proposing to meet and plan the next step. Following the tracks, they spot the Red Dragon on various battlefields, dominating but sparing his enemies. Suddenly, Javier Karma appears, the best warrior from SAN. His arrival fills the air with power and threat. Javier warns the Red Dragon. Leave now or death is inevitable, for he commands a force not to be underestimated. The Red Dragon does not flee, proud and defiant. A brutal duel begins where strength and skill push to the limit. The Red Dragon uses protective magic, but Javier's attacks with the RA Flame Sword are too strong and knock him into the sand. BOM watches the battle cautiously, sensing the shared emotions of the dragons, anticipating a change in events. Pierced by a strike, the Red Dragon roars fiercely and for the first time shows true anger and the red mana of his origin. The Red Dragon's blows hit Javier, but he quickly retreats, ready to unleash the artifact's power that could change the battle's course. BOM warns Jitae of the incoming threat, but he watches calmly, preparing to intervene at the decisive moment. An explosion of powerful mana from Javier's sword strikes the Red Dragon, who rolls on the sand, on the brink of destruction. Jitae appears from behind to stop the Red Dragon, who has lost control and is ready to break the amusement taboo. Jitae's palm strike to the neck interrupts the red dragon's fall, knocking him unconscious. Jitae watches the battered red dragon, its scales torn and body wounded, barely recovering from a crushing defeat. But the fight is far from over. Javier confronts Jitae, demanding answers about the red dragon and their bond, tension rising as accusations fill the wind. Jitae reveals only fragments about the red dragon's nature, hinting at guardianship without full truths, while Javier refuses to back down. Javier threatens to arrest both Jitae and the red dragon, standing firm as a SAN investigator, unaware of the danger looming just moments away. In a blink, Jitae vanishes, and as Javier tries to raise his blade, an invisible force pushes back the fiery sword of RA, defying his strength completely. Without warning, a heavy strike crashes into Javier's chest, throwing him back as Jitae's invisible power pins him motionless beneath his foot. Javier's mind reels at Jitae's overwhelming strength. Cold killing intent radiates as the man's hazy gaze freezes him in sheer terror. Jitae recounts how Javier lost his sight to a monster's attack, slicing through memory and pain, a brutal reminder of unseen fears. Back in Bomp's alternate dimension, Jitae carries the healing red dragon as BOM channels nature's power, wounds sealing fast but the mind remains fragile. The red dragon weakly murmurs as it opens a hazy eye, shifting gaze between BOM and Jitae before turning away, tortured and silent. BOM assures the red dragon's slow recovery, as Jitae confirms their plan, sharing a silent nod of readiness before returning to his inner world. Jitae closes his eyes and raises a finger to his temple, silently communicating with his distant true body through shared memories. Receiving memories from his copy, Jitae opens eyes to see a bright young gold dragon smiling warmly up at him, their golden gaze full of childlike wonder. The curious gold dragon clutches Jitae's smartwatch, delighting in its holographic screen and playful features, fascinated like a child discovering magic. As the gold dragon snaps pictures excitedly, Jitae reflects on this dragon's mischievous nature, fun-loving yet bound to bring disaster in future rounds. Jitae asks why the gold dragon remains here among beasts and insects, sparking a shy but chaotic explanation about past fears and human society. A playful trade unfolds as Jitae offers bread and macarons to coax the wary gold dragon into journeying with him, tempting her with sweet delights. Jitae observes dragons and their new names revealing the secrets of their future, weaving a complex pattern of their lives. The golden dragon playfully argues with Bomb about gifts, enjoying the new things that have become part of their life. Bo skillfully manages Yerem's mood while Jitae watches, preparing for the upcoming strategy. Night deepens, dragons return with purchases, completing expensive buys that reflect both hope and risk. Yerem silently shows her new weapon, inner doubts and bitterness reflected in every movement. Jitae sets boundaries and introduces dragons to the world of social rules, intending to guide them on the path of survival and growth. BOM and Cole try to lighten the mood with Yerem, inviting her for a walk to bring a smile back to her face. Jitae trusts BOM to handle the money, encouraging her to open up and enjoy a world otherwise unfamiliar to them. Jitae watches as the numbers on the bank messages screen become increasingly alarming, feeling that something is slipping out of control. Night envelopes the room. Jitae lies on the couch feeling detached from the world and inner emptiness. In the silence of the night, the dragon's whispers can be heard, their talks reflecting simple humanity and exhaustion from the long journey. Morning brings new hopes. Boem prepares a strange dish that surprises everyone at the table. Cole happily praises Bomb's food while Jitae skeptically tries the first spoonful. Jitae reflects that their happiness is the key to preventing the apocalypse, and decides to send the dragons to school. In the residential district of Gangwon-do, Jitae leads the dragons to an underground office to register their ID cards. Cole stays in the office, feeling danger while Jitae energetically deflects the men's intrusive gazes. Two men try to talk to Cole, and Jitae decisively orders her to go home. Under the flicker of street lamps, A bleeding man emerges from the shadows before disappearing into the darkness. Angry and sensing danger, Jitae breaks a street lamp, plunging the alley into darkness, preparing for the final act. Turning the victim's face and seeing a familiar expression, Jitae recognizes a man from his memories, a dangerous human trafficker. Jitae finds a man resembling the trafficker, the moment everything could change. Begging for mercy, the man reveals a personal tragedy, but Jitae isn't hunting emotions, he's waiting for the signal. Jitae sees the man he was spying on try to send a signal on his watch. The danger approaches. In the alley's silence, footsteps sound. Masked fighters silently draw swords, ready for confrontation. With cold confidence, Jitae attacks silently. One swing cuts down the attackers to death. Despite desperate attempts to escape, no one slips away from Jitae's hunt. The deadly aura prevails. The enemy's bodies engulfed in black flames. An incredible skill destroys everything without a trace in a whirlwind of destruction. Returning to the victim, Jitae administers a potion that will erase the memory of what happened, deciding their future. Each day flows slowly. Jitae cares for the children, their lives continuing smoothly, though a storm brews. The model of a flawless police officer, Jitae receives a well-deserved award. His colleagues celebrate with him. After the ceremony, he's stopped at the exit by Lee Bosuk, the police chief's daughter with persistent attention. Bosuk's persistence turns into gentle touches, but Jitae firmly stops her, refusing to make contact. The group's attention shifts to the arrival of Bom and Kale. The girls spark surprise and curiosity. Kale warmly bows to Bosuk, noting the similarity in clothing, a feeling of slight awkwardness and tension. Cole playfully called Bosuk potato, and Boam sternly warned the girl not to offend her. Jitae worried about Yoram, whose goal was to bypass Javier, but for now she was kept at a cold distance. Cole tried to persuade her to eat chicken, melting into pitiful pleas, but Yaiti remained unyielding. Cole excuses refusing the chicken with a story about a poisonous mushroom, while Boam watches her with a gentle smile. Around a table full of fragrant roasted chicken, a game of children's grievances and humble joys unfolds. Cole cries over the taste of chicken, surprising Jitae in this touching moment of friendly meal. On the veranda, Yoram takes a drag from a cigarette and asks Jitae about their future in Lyra. Yoram demands a fight with Jitae, but he avoids the game, leaving her angry and disappointed. The moment to submit documents to Lyra arrives, and the team diligently prepares for the interview and new challenges. After the interview, Cole panics, fearing failure and dreading being the only one not to pass the selection. Jitae's phone rings with important news about Bomb's brilliant results and an invitation to Lyra's education department. Jitae and Bom head to Lyra after the interview. The mystery in the air thickens. What awaits next? Jitae asks Bom about her wishes, and she thoughtfully admits her search for meaning continues. Bom honestly says she has no clear path. She prepares and rejoices but sees no life purpose in it. Jitae asks about his own wishes. Bom returns the question. Their sincere dialogue reveals the depth of their relationship. An unexpected question about Jitae's desires catches him off guard, but the interruption shifts to tense mutual understanding. Silence stretches. Both stand still. Persistence and silence electrify the air before the revelation. Bom steps back and quietly explains the interview went smoothly. The questions were simple and answers precise. Bom talks about the mysterious question on mana concentration that immediately changed the interview's atmosphere. In Lyra's education department, professors discuss Bom's phenomenal knowledge, their excitement gradually turning into surprise. Interviews are tiring, but Bom's arrival brought freshness. Her performance made even experienced professors think. Magic expert Nakamura reproaches colleagues for exaggerations. In her view, Bom's explanation can't be so perfect. Among professors, a debate arises about knowledge and experience, emphasizing the uniqueness of young talent Bom. Discussion shifts to Bom's origin. It turns out her school doesn't officially exist, raising questions and fears. Jokes emerge about secret connections and ties to the magical tower, but no one can unravel Bomp's identity mystery. Jitae appears in the room with BOM, and the atmosphere fills with anticipation as everyone wants to see the unusual pupil. In the tense atmosphere, Professor Nakamura calls BOM for questioning about her unusual knowledge, surprising and intriguing all. BOM calmly answers Professor Nakamura's questions about the new article, as professors marvel at her insight. Professors are inspired by Bomp's abilities and start offering scholarships, organizing an unexpected competition among groups. However, Bomb refuses all offers, explaining her lack of true passion for magic, which astonishes the teachers. Outside Lair, Jitae asks BOM about her skill in reading faces and avoiding awkward questions, amazed by her insightfulness. Despite all favorable offers, for BOM the decisive factor remains her lack of enthusiasm for magic. Her heart is not drawn to this path. In the new dormitory, friends settle in. Bomb tenderly cares for the blue dragon's egg, rediscovering the world around her. Jitae enters the Blue Lyra building, intent on monitoring the Azure Dragon Group's interview and eliminating the threat. Jitae notices Professor Wei Yen, an exemplary mentor and a dangerous aspect of the apocalypse, whose face is deceptively gentle. The focus is on Yoram with a grim expression. Noticed by Jitae, she turns away, avoiding eye contact, hiding the secret of her presence. The hall is filled with young super warriors, but all eyes are on the mysterious red-haired girl Yoram. Her power is mesmerizing and frightening. The gong sounds, and the fight begins with lightning-fast strikes and parries. Yoram plays like a child, boldly provoking and dominating the ring. Despite pain and injuries, Sophia refuses to give up, her eyes burning with madness and determination, inspiring both respect and concern from onlookers. The dispute ends with the intervention of the referee and Wei Yen, but Sophia refuses to surrender. Tension hangs over the ring before the final turn. Exploding with rage, Sophia suddenly attacks Yoram with a dagger, and the fight stops being a match. A real life-or-death battle begins. Yoram growls in displeasure, grabs Sophia by the neck, and forcefully throws her into the barrier. Breaking the cages, a no-compromise conflict ignites. Soon a real battle starts. Continuous blows, falls, and screams. The entire hall is engulfed in chaos. No one knows how it will end. The crowd shouts angrily, but no one dares to stop the conflict. No one knows who will come out victorious from this brutal sparring. Unable to contain her anger, Yoram moves with the full strength of the dragon, trying to destroy Sophia, and chaos erupts. Guard Mikhailov intervenes. The referee protects Sophia. A purple barrier appears, and white manas bind Yoram in space. Jitae watches the entire hall at once, noticing every emotion, from Sophia's rage to Wei Yan's disapproval. Wei Yan demands the creation of a spatial barrier to isolate the conflict and suspends the interview. Intervention begins. Mikhailov feels fury as he approaches Yoram, but the interviewers try to calm him down. The atmosphere intensifies. Mikhailov swings his hand down trying to hit Yoram, but she confidently dodges and delivers a precise strike to his chin. People quickly restrain Mikhailov and Yoram. Shouts and calls for calm fill the air. Tension grows. Wei Yan urges everyone to calm down, warning of the danger of the conflict escalating and the need to maintain peace. Jitae suddenly steps in as Yoram's guardian, making everyone in the hall doubt and hold their breath. His words change the course of events. After a reminder about control and order, everyone moves to the office where Jitae plans to talk with Yoram away from the noisy crowd. In the silence, broken by words, Yoram admits doubts about her behavior, opening up truly for the first time. Jitae supports her, jokingly advising next time to kill without spectators, ending the conversation on an unexpectedly light note. Tension fills the office as Mikhailov and Wei Yan enter, and Jitae sits with a cold gaze. Jitae inwardly imagines crushing Wei Yan's head, recalling demons and terrible threats looming. Wei Yan begins his speech with an apology, trying to calm everyone with his soft voice and responsible demeanor. Jitae asks a sharp question. Why did no one stop the girl with the dagger, whose eyes seemed insane? Jitae delivers restrained reproach, saying that if you can't control the child, you don't deserve to be her guardian. Mikhailov tries to justify himself, but his pride crumbles when Jitae's gaze pierces right through him. Holding the dagger, Jitae hands it to Mikhailov. Words of caution hang in the air like cold poison. Mikhailov, feeling utterly insignificant, agrees nervously, fearing what happened like a child before a beast. Jitae coldly advises Mikhailov not to get into dangerous situations again, reminding him to stay safe on busy roads. Confused about what's happening, Mikhailov quickly leaves the office, overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty, imagining the worst. Jitae cautiously avoids dangers, but the tension in the room rises as he notices Yaoram watching him with special interest. Wei Yan receives a message from the RIL legal team. The exchange of cold words hints at a possible battle off the field. Jitae decisively rejects legal proposals, unwilling to complicate matters, while Yaoram remains silent and detached. Wei Yan insists, offering a special place in the training group for 3 recruits, hoping on Yoram's promise to be the face of the Azure group. Jitae reflects that Wei Yan's motivation is tied to an upcoming major event in the lair, where the fight for influence will reach new heights. The dialogue heats up. Wei Yan asks Yaoram for help with future cooperation, but the girl coldly refuses, causing confusion and disappointment. A conversation about Sofia Vorkova brings sincerity. Yaoram doesn't want to compete but confirms her stance to keep her resolve. Jitae shows curiosity, asking why the first interview happened, and Yaoram indifferently reveals her true mood, boredom and a desire for a fight. Wei Yan tries to convince Yaoram that a measured life is a rare opportunity in the lair, insisting on media attention and upcoming fame. Jitae abruptly interrupts the conversation, suggesting they leave, even though a crowd of persistent reporters eager for sensational words is gathering. The crowd of reporters tries to block their way, demanding words from Yaoram, but his calm gaze controls the situation despite the tension. Suddenly, Yaoram shouts a single word, breaking the calm, "Sex!" shocking everyone present. Jitae and Yaoram walk silently down the street, the wind blowing her red hair. The silence is full of tension. What will their next step bring? Approaching the dormitory, Yaoram hesitates thoughtfully at the door. Her gaze is fixed on the floor as their fate at the automatic doors hangs in balance. Yaoram admits, nothing is left except her body and fists. She can offer nothing but determination to survive. This is her value. Jitae refuses to accept gifts. His only wish is that Yaoram doesn't die. Their silent bond balances on the scales of life. Yaoram expresses irritation at Jitae's lack of reasons to live. The question of life's purpose sounds like a challenge, revealing inner contradictions. Through the youth's irritation, he exhales. The only thing he wants is simply to go inside. In response, Yaoram strictly closes the door, breaking the peace. The next day, Yoram's name instantly spreads online. A viral video with her candid words explodes through the superhuman communities. The internet is split between admiration and insults toward Yaoram. The girl called does not understand the curse words, forgetting about adult cruelty. Yaoram discusses the meaning of the word sex with Call, frightening the little one with her energy and funny but incorrect explanations. Media interest wanes, but reporters still try to catch Yaoram off guard. She is irritated but restrained. Her gaze on Jitae protects the peace. Jitae feels unfamiliar with his new title, Guardian. This status is strange, but it could be the start of a different path. Jitae watches the giant blue egg, almost ready to hatch, sensing a quiet shift in the home's atmosphere. Call happily shows her grandmother a watch with a funny image of Yaoram in a football uniform. Laughter awakens warmth in the house. Yaoram alone throws Jitae's watch, irritably slams the door, ignoring little Call's curiosity, sinking into her thoughts. Jitae calls Call, and she appears excited, proud in her new outfit, ready for a big day. He quietly praises her choice, and Call beams with joy, awaiting her first visit to the Lear headquarters. In front of the headquarters, they are met by PR team leader Yun Do-hee, a friendly woman with a blue badge and a warm smile. The PR team talks about Lear's daily life, and suddenly Yun Do-hee invites them to the entrance ceremony rehearsal. In the huge hall, Call is stunned by the scale of the stage and seating, feeling very small. During rehearsal, Call attracts the host's attention, and her simple greeting sparks laughter and liveliness in the hall. BOM tries to find out about the possibility of an audition, but Yun Do-hee explains all spots are taken for today. Returning home, Jitae hears Call's heartbeat quicken and realizes something important is starting. Ha Jun-soo, an experienced producer, watches the rehearsal with a critical eye, striving for perfection. Discussing candidates, the producer is strict and demanding, intensifying the tense work atmosphere. The producer's attention is caught by footage of Call. Her beauty and charm hide something mysterious. The producer demands to immediately find the mysterious girl whose face captivates everyone who sees it. At sunset on the floating island, everything seemed frozen, but inside, something was beginning. BOM opens a conversation about their unhappy fate, recalling hard times when the world around was crumbling. She talks about the rift of dimensions and the lost hope of restoring the old world when they had no protection left. Jitae asks why adults don't search for them and gets a sad answer about the broken bonds of dragons. She explains that the connection is gradually being restored, and now their life is becoming more stable, to some relief. Discussing Curl's career reveals the problems of street recruitment and strange contracts that cause concern. Jitae realizes the danger of fame for Curl and decides to limit her public appearances for protection. Despite the refusal, BOM hopefully asks to let Curl perform at least once, a chance full of dreams. Curl shyly explains her fear of the stage but dreams of at least a small performance in front of an audience. Jitae makes the tough decision to allow her to perform once, bringing genuine joy to the girl. A sudden call breaks the moment. The PR manager is on the line with important news. Jitae conveys the joyful news of an unexpected audition opening, giving Curl a chance. Curl nervously repeats the text, anxiously feeling the weight of the upcoming performance. At rehearsal, director Ha Jun-soo silently assesses Curl, his gaze heavy and demanding. Jitae notices the director's look and carefully intervenes, defending Curl before the harsh team. Curl accepts the challenge, preparing to become the face of the newcomers, but those around doubt her. Jitae, Curl, and BOM prepare together for the performance when they suddenly examine a mysterious blue egg. Jitae witnessed a hopeless birth attempt in a poor neighborhood where life and death are closely intertwined. He turned to an experienced midwife, but even she doubts the mother's survival. Jitae's persistence turns into hope for a miracle. Despite despair, the woman can't endure labor and dies. The baby, born lifeless, symbolizes hopelessness. In a warm dorm room, a group rejoices, watching the birth of the blue dragon Jewel breaking its shell. Jewel slowly emerges, breaking the shell, as the children eagerly and warmly welcome her among friends. Curl tries to gently hold the dragonling, but quickly hands responsibility to the dissatisfied Yoram, causing slight irritation. Yoram carefully studies the dragonling, sniffing and licking its horns, a mysterious ritual whose meaning remains unclear. BOM magically created a flower and decorated the dragonling's ears with it, prompting Curl's delighted laughter and joy in the room. Curl amusingly places the flower behind Jitae's ear, whose serious gaze contrasts with the children's playfulness. Night falls, and Jitae gently feeds Jewel warm milk, carefully feeling every movement and vital pulse. BOM begins transferring magic, linking her energy with Jewel's body, heeding Jitae's gestures and silence, gaining hope for the dragonling. After several exhausting days, BOM is worn out, tiredly eating sushi while the room remains silent, hinting at the trials nearing their end. Finally, BOM completes the magical transfer, collapsing onto the bed, exhausted, while Jitae gently covers her with a blanket. Ujidi notices the tired figure of the small polymorphic Jewel, slowly standing up like a 3-year-old child. Curl gives Jewel a shirt that's too big for her, but the child curiously explores the new clothes, showing innocent wonder. In the quiet of the night, Jewel suddenly hugs Ujidi's face, expressing warm affection and drawing a smile on his tired face. Ujidi feels a mysterious and troubling tearing in the sky, clutching a plain blue teddy bear for Jewel. Ujidi returns to the house where Yoram is smoking at the window. Their silent exchange of glances is filled with tension and complex feelings. In the hallway, Jewel nervously approaches Ujidi but quickly looks away, while Yoram mockingly comments on her loyalty. Ujidi gives Jewel the blue teddy bear, and the little one hugs the gift, revealing warmth and childlike innocence in her eyes. Ujidi checks Bomb's fever. She's very ill and sleeps curled up on the bed with her eyes closed. Yoram watches TV without much attention, smoking and sarcastically commenting on how tired she is of multi-season dramas. Curl solemnly leaves the room in festive attire, leaving Ujidi prepared for a day of important challenges. Jewel shyly joins Ujidi and Curl, gradually picking up pace to enter open house day together. The public-speaking teacher harshly criticizes Curl for lacking emotion in her rehearsals, emphasizing the need to feel sincerity. Ujidi watches Curl exhausting herself with rehearsals, while Jewel glares at the strict teacher with disapproval and childish indignation. Ujidi shares painful memories of friends and past curses with Curl to awaken genuine feelings in her. Ujidi places Jewel on the table, and together with Curl begins teaching her feelings through touch and personal stories. Winter, when a friend became commander of 100 fighters, the beginning of a story full of lost faces and pain. He gathered awards and talented people, hiding strength, keeping them close to build career and control. War changes them. He meets Hasetbile, a shy woman with a wary gaze and a rare superpower. She fears battle, hides, but he sees more vulnerability that uninvitedly draws his care. One day in a bomb shelter, just the two of them remained. Words birthed a bond, giving hope for a future away from war. Promises of the future, children, and warmth fly in the heart, despite the cold and fights looming from the darkness. But evil rises. Demons grow stronger, their forces destructive, and the commander with his elite face unimaginable horror. His army crumbles under the onslaught of catastrophic demons. To be powerless means losing almost everything in 3 swift days. In captivity awaits horror, endless torture and suffering, and he with a severed hand and the agony of losing a loved one. She, blind, moves forward, burning fears for others. Her scream fades with the sunset, her gaze freezes forever. She whispers the last words, "Cold." He speaks of pain and loss, and Call grips his hand despite the cold words. The weight of memories presses down. After the story, Gul cautiously reaches for him in an embrace. She cries in silence, feeling the pain without words. Returning from the game, Gul holds Call's hand, and Ujidi walks beside them, trying to understand the emptiness in her eyes. However, in the dorm, Ujidi senses a strange, dangerous energy. Cunning warriors in heavy armor, a troubling sign. A voice cuts the silence. Someone accuses Ujidi of what he did to Green. The tension rises.